Welcome back. This is going to be a world browser overview. We're going to cover how the world browser works, how to get your world discoverable and recognizable in there, and what all the icons and bits and bobs within the world browser mean. Let's go for it. I'm going to hop over here into Smooth POV and open up the dash here. Inside the dash, you'll see that I'm focused on the world browser. A quick note right at the start of the video, the top right button here is a custom button by Turk that you can find in his public folder. It opens a local inspector so I can poke around at the world browser. You won't see that if you're looking at a brand new one. That's there just because it'll help me throughout the video to sort of poke things around. In fact, just off screen, I've got something which is reminding me about the default sort order for the worlds that are listed here. Let's move on to talk about the three main areas that you can see within the world browser tab here. On the left here, you can see a list of filters. There's also a custom option, and we'll go by that a little bit later. And along the top, you'll see searching. That allows you to search. We'll go along that a bit later. To the right of search is the pagination. This lets you paginate through the search results. Do know that you can also scroll and paginate. I'll explain why that's occurring in just a little bit, because that's somewhat confusing sometimes. And those are the three main areas. Let's now talk about the middle area before we cover filtering and searching, etc. The middle area will show a huge hodgepodge of mix and matches of everything by the default filtering list, which is also called everything. So right at the top, you'll be able to see worlds that you're hosting. For example, I am hosting Desert Meeting Space, I am hosting Home, and I am hosting Local as well. A quick note in terminology here, when a world is being hosted, it's called a session formally, but I sometimes interchange the words here, especially when explaining them in great detail, etc. Just note that if a world is open, it is known as a session, and if a world is just closed, it's known as a world, but the terms are mostly interchangeable. It doesn't really matter too much. The other thing to note is that you won't see these worlds up here. You can tell that by the little envelope with a padlock on it. That means the visibility of those sessions are set to invite only. So my local world, my home world, which is the cloud home, and also the world I'm recording this tutorial in, Desert Meeting Space, is set to invite only right now. Beneath that, in the bottom right-hand corner of each of these, you can see the number of people in the world. It's currently showing 0 for all of these. I believe that's something to do with the fact that it's private, so that the world browser itself can't really tell who's in it because it's a private session. But you'll see that that increases and changes depending on the world type. Let's move away from the worlds which I own. You can also tell that they are, the sessions that I own, you can also tell that they're different by the outline. You'll see the outline here is a different color. It's green or yellow. I actually can't tell which. To the right, that you'll see the most popular world currently as looking at this, which is Vibe and under construction. You'll see that it's hosted by Rikio. You can see the host there for sort of all the worlds that have hosts that aren't controlled by you. You'll see hosting if you're hosting it. Otherwise, you'll see the host that is hosting the world. To the left of the host is the icon which represents what type of access this world has. Let me turn on Freeform Dash here so I can kind of pull it around a little bit closer for you. Freeform Dash, by the way, just as an aside, lets you kind of pull the dash wherever you would like. I like this because it means I can get things really close for you. So there you go. You'll see it's just been updated. It's now the top world is New Year's Eve, Work in Progress 09 by Katiana. So you can see there's 9 people in there. The icon to the left there, the little friends icon there, that means it's open to friends. I think I see a plus there, which might mean it's friends plus. Sorry, I should actually use the appropriate terminology for Neos, which is contacts and contacts plus. We use the term contacts and contacts plus here. Moving through the world, you'll see there's more open to Context Plus there, Context Plus there. You'll see that there are colors that are possible, both in Vibin, which appears to have just been shut down, and also Party Planet here. You can actually customize the name of your world. We'll go over that in a little bit as well. Let's scroll through and see what else we can figure out and take a look at some of the icons and some of the indicators here. Okay, so that's actually a good one. I'm on the left here, Foggier Valley, 2 sessions. The session browser by default will collapse multiple sessions of world together into one list. Let's hope Foggier Valley stays open so I can show you this. If you click Foggier Valley, you'll go into this UI. And at the top here, you'll see that there are, it looks like that just oh, there we go, I loaded it properly this time. So you'll see Foggier Valley here, and we're seeing more details. I'll go over this screen a little bit later, but I just want to illustrate there are more than one session. You can use these arrows to go through the sessions here. Let's carry on. That's just what the 2 sessions there means. Actually, here's another one. MMC Parkour Parks Redux. You can see that there is a little medal icon. Let me expand that a little bit there, so you can see it there. That means that the world is featured. The Neos team will be looking at worlds as they're published and featuring the coolest ones, the ones that you know deserve the most attention. You'll also see a little padlock here. I think that's invite only, but it's strange that that's a headless, so I'm not quite sure what visibility that is. Maybe this will help. Visibility registered users. There we go. That's what the icon means. So here it's helping me out by saying visibility registered users. So that is the world with the red padlock. It means registered users only. To explain the difference between registered users and anonymous users, if you log in with your account, you are a registered user. And if you don't log in, you are an anonymous user. And sometimes people filter those out of sessions. It's sometimes a good idea to keep the session under a little bit more control. Okay, let's scroll down, see what else we can see in terms of icons. Yes, there's the 3 bars there. That is the headless icon. That means that the world is being hosted by a headless session. Headless sessions are Neos's current version of servers. They're not real servers. Servers are becoming later, but they're a way for users who are Patreon. See more information in the video description. I don't want to get it wrong, so I'll copy and paste and put it there later about Headless. I'll also do a video about how Headless works at some point. But it's basically a version of Neos that's running without a rendering window or without a headset. Lots of people run Headless sessions to host events or run Headless sessions to showcase worlds that they're particularly interested in, showcasing and showing off to the world. All right, let's scroll down, see what more might be there. Okay, we're past the worlds that actually have open sessions. So past that, you'll then see that we're into worlds that don't have open sessions. You can tell the difference here because there's no host. Instead, it says buy, and there's also no number in the bottom right here. So you'll see some worlds here. The ordering, by the way, of the default everything search here is the total user count and the total session count and the search score and the number of users in a session and the publish time sort of all mixed up. Basically, the newest, most popular, as in the most occupied world, will appear at the top in the everything search. That depends on which side thing you do here, or if you do the custom one down there as well, it's a little bit different. But by default, everything and most of these other ones will sort by most occupied and then most recently published. So as you scroll down here, you'll get to the bottom here, and once you get to the bottom here, you need to paginate across. The reason why there is scrolling and pagination, I know this sometimes cause some frustration in the community, is because loading in these pictures actually takes some resources, right? Each of these pictures is a full 360, and so there does need to be a page, and so there is scrolling and pagination, because when you hit next on the page up here, so we hit next, it'll go over onto 50 to 100, that loads a completely new set of data and a completely new set of thumbnails, which is a lot of data to come in. That's why there's a pagination and scrolling. Let's hand it on back. I'm now going to talk about the expanded view that we talked about a little bit when I was showing off the multiple session view, but we'll go over the expanded view here and everything that you can do with there. So first of all, I'm going to pick a world that has a session open just to show you what that looks like, and then we'll pick a world that doesn't have a session open. So here, we'll go back up to the top here, New Year's Eve. I keep saying New York City, but it's New Year's Eve, work in progress 10. If I click this, you'll see that we get this expanded view. This expanded view can show you more details. It also makes the thumbnail in the middle a little bit easier to scan around with. So we can see Vegas there, who's helping to build that world. Not quite sure who they are. These thumbnails here are completely panable. You can just move your laser around here and you'll see what's going on. There's Cassie straight in front of the camera here. They are low detailed, but you can pan around and see what's going on. If your world is open to public or contacts, etc., do bear in mind that is happening as well. You have got that being covered. If you don't want that to happen, go for a private world. Private worlds don't generate or upload or show those thumbnails to anyone as they're private. Actually, I think they generate them, but they generate and show them only to people that have access to those worlds, which means you have to invite them. That's why private sessions exist. On the left here, you can go through various filters here. You can click them on the right here, and it'll go through who's in the world. So you see users, description, or you can drop down this to hide that. That gives you a better view of the central area to scroll around with. You can then cancel, which will close the dialog, or hit join. This will join you into the world. We're not going to do that. You can also hit this globe at the top right here. This will expand the view into a lot larger of an information panel. It'll give you everything here. So it'll give you the uptime, the visibility, the users list, tags. We'll go over tags a little bit later. It'll also give you the option to get a session orb or copy the session URL. We'll go over those actually in a different video because I don't want to sort of make this video too long. So we'll go over those orbs in a little bit more detail. Maybe we'll have them at the end. I'm not quite sure. It depends how much we go on. I've been trying to do these more sort of overview videos as people have been finding them popular, but do let me know if shorter videos work out better for you, and I'll keep the time down. I do want to keep things sort of down and underneath 30 minutes though, as I believe, after 30 minutes I'm probably just waffling on anyway. On the left here, you'll see active sessions. This won't be applicable to this world, as this world is being sort of developed and is quite new. But sometimes there are multiple sessions and they will exist here. Especially if the world is published, you might see multiple sessions over here. We did see that happen with the world that I was looking at earlier. I actually can't remember the name. And you can join it from here. If you see any more sessions here, you'll be able to sort of join them. So that is an active session and its big expanded view. Let's go on to, let's see if that double session is actually still open. I don't think it will be there. Somewhat rare at the moment as the community is still relatively small. It's growing every day though. Okay, let's go on to a world which is not open, so there are no sessions in this world. We'll just go ahead and select Tiki Beach by Enverix. I recognize that map. I believe that's a map imported from VRChat. I actually like that one in VRChat. Cool, so this world is published. It is not, there's no sessions open for it currently. I've got that expanded, so let me just drop that down. If I click this through, you'll see description. Enverix is very good actually at filling in the description and tags of all their worlds. So here you've got a big description to talk about you know what's going on here. Low poly, high performance beach environment to relax in. It's good. I've relaxed there many times in VRChat. I really do think it's the VRChat one. I'm not quite sure. Enverix does a lot of importing of other Unity projects that are cool to look at, so do check it out. I do recognize it though, like I said. If I hit the expanded view here with the top right, you'll see here that we get a slightly different view because this is a world that is, you know, I can open a session of. So on the left here, you'll see that there is a selection here which says new session, and I can hit start sessions down here. This will start a new session, and the new session will be started by a default visibility level. The default visibility level depends on your status. I'm currently set to busy as I'm recording, so I believe it will set it to context plus, but don't quote me on that. That'll be in the video description as well. If there's any sort of complex data, I want to put it in the video description just in case I get it wrong. I can update it later, so do check that video description. You also see start custom session. I 9 times out of 10 will use this just because I'm more explicit and intentional with my intentions. If I hit start custom session, this dialog will appear and then I have control over what's going on. I'll go over these briefly. I do talk about them in sort of permission related content, link in the video description to my mission series, but we'll go over them briefly. So we have private invite only. Private invite only is invite only. If you're familiar with VRChat or other platforms, it's the same. Only invites are allowed to get into this, and only invites from the world host. So if you know, if someone else comes in, they can't then invite more people. Only the world host can invite people. That's private. LAN is LAN only open to the local area network. That's what LAN stands for. So if you have a computer in your house, apartment, or whatever, or even school or business establishment, they'll be able to connect, but no one else will be. It basically means local to the network only. We don't see many of those occurring. We do in the sort of academic and business worlds, though. They're really good for preventing surprises from internet players and stuff like that. Contacts will then be open to people that are on your contacts list. That is also friends, or it used to be called friends. It's pretty much friends. Anyone on your contacts list in the contacts section there will be able to in. Contacts Plus lets you go in, and people lets contacts of you go in, and also contacts of their contacts. It's a pretty much like Friends Plus from VRChat. So just to do a fully worked out example to explain it fully, if I am friends with, let's say, Frooks, and Frooks is friends with, I don't know, let's say Business Lawyer, then Business Lawyer will be able to join as he is linked to the world host through Frooks. That's what Contacts Plus mean. If it's just contacts, then Frooks would be able to join, and if I didn't have Business Lawyer on my contacts list, he wouldn't be able to join. But because it's Contacts Plus, it links in a chain, and Business Lawyer can get in. Beneath that is registered users. Like I talked about before, this is anyone that's signed in. Anyone that's signed in is allowed to join. Anyone that's not signed in and can't. And then anyone is literally anyone, you name it. There are two checkboxes at the top, mobile friendly and unsafe mode. Unsafe mode is for use with experimental logics nodes such as write text. Link in the video description to how that node works. I'm not sure if it's used for anything else. Don't check it. If you check it, you'll also be limited down to just LAN and private. It's used for business and educational things. Nothing really of note for, you know, a more sort of social open world. It's more business applications and experiments, etc. Mobile friendly does signal that the world is particularly low on the assets or the performance, etc. Not performance, on optimization. It's low stress basically. That will be signaled to Quest users or mobile users of Neos to, you know, this world might be friendly for you on a lower powered device to come in and check out. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't restrict any sort of filtering or anything. It's just really a signal to shows to mobile users, hey, this world might be okay for you to join. It's very uncommon to see that one checked as well. Next to that is the get world orbs, start custom session. Like I said, I'll go over world orbs at different time again because there's a lot going on here, a lot to talk about. On the right here, you'll see more information. This time, because it's not a session, you'll see information about the world, such as when it was published, when it was last updated, how many people have visited it, and then the tags. So that's the expanded view for both the sessions and the worlds there. Let's now go on to the ones on the left here. So ones on the left here go through various sort of filtering and categories of worlds that you can go onto. So everything, like I said, it's just literally everything. It's sessions, headless sessions, empty sessions, sessions that got people in them, and worlds. If you go down to featured, featured will only show featured content. Do note that it will show featured worlds and featured sessions. So here you can see Dell VR has that 2 sessions. Actually, let's open that up because that will show the session view on the left there. So here you can see on the left here that you've got 2 active sessions on Dell VR Tavern of Tales. You've got Juicy and the other one just closed. Great. But if there was more there, you saw it for a brief moment there. It was there. And that means you can choose which one you want to join. All right, let's close that one down. So this is just featured worlds. Like I said, the Neos team handle featuring. If your world does get featured, you'll probably be featured in the monthly stream that they have where they talk about featured worlds. Really put some effort into your world, make it nice, make it optimized, etc. And the Neos team might feature it. I'm not in charge of that, so speak to them if you want more information on how they choose which worlds to get featured. If you're looking for a good thing to show off to someone that's new to Neos, go to the featured list. All the worlds here are great. Beneath that is published worlds. Published worlds will filter out sessions. I like using the Publish World tab when I'm not looking to join anyone. I'm looking to create a session of my own. It will filter out any active sessions and just show you worlds that are open. It's also then, because it's filtering out sessions, it's filtered by publish time pretty much only. So you can actually see the new worlds here. This is sort of the default tab I use when I'm trying to discover new content. I'll come here sort of once or twice a week just to see what's new in Neos. So you can see here there's Christmas Cabins by Everix, appropriate for Christmas. And when that New Year's Eve map gets published by Cadiata, you'll see it here as well. Again, you can scroll through here. Do note that Publish Worlds does sort of mix in featured worlds as well. Most of these will mix in various types of things, etc. Next one is active sessions. This only shows active sessions. It will not show worlds. So this one is good if you want to see what's going on. If you're looking at those plates, which you'll see on in worlds, etc., the contents from this tab is the same as the contents from the plates that you see. This will include headless and non-headless. I know that the plates have a headless filter. Contact sessions will show sessions that are only open to your contacts. I'll skip over that one as I don't really want to show off worlds that aren't entirely public, but just worlds that are open to just contacts. Headless will show headless worlds. Not quite sure why I'm at the top here, but there we go. This shows anyone that's got a headless copy of the world open. Common things to see in headless, like I say, are events or individual groups or people that want to really show off some content. There's also some utility and tool-based worlds. For example, there's a couple of maybe it's closed right now. There's a couple of sort of headless sessions that host My Directory World where you can find public folders. You'll just see headless worlds here. Headless worlds are great to go to if one of the people that you're with doesn't have stable internet, or you don't have stable internet, you don't want to host like a headless session. They're usually ran on more beefier hardware that might be better for a session that is open to a lot of people. Really depends on what you're after. Again, headless sessions aren't really servers. They are hosted on a computer still, and servers will come later. Servers is sort of a different concept that Neos is looking into later. Beneath that, we then go into the tagging worlds. This is where we start to talk about tags, and I'll go into that in a little bit. Social is any world which contains the social tag. So if I scroll back up to the top here, you'll see it's a load of worlds. It does include sessions. It's anything that contains the social tag. So if I go ahead and I select Zeppelin Voyage by Enverx here, and I hit the expansion here, you'll see that in the tags at the bottom here, we have Voyage, Zeppelin, Presentation, Chill, Video, Travel, Social. Because it's got that tag social, it will appear in the social list. Next is games. Games will list any games. For those that are wondering, hey, what games are available in Neos? The games tab is where you're at. You gotta go. There's quite a few games in here, quite a few popular ones, quite a few unfinished ones, mine included. Here's Laserbeam, which is unfinished. I'm working on it. I've heard good things about Fishing Island. You can fish there. I've seen some photos on Twitter of the Japanese community catching fish, and there's a score of how big the fish is that you catch, so that looks fun. I'll probably check that one out later. This one only appears if you have the tag game. So if we open up Fishing Island here and I open up the big expanded view here, you'll see game is there. Art is one of the more empty ones, as it's a sort of uncommon one to see. Strange that DelVR is there, but I guess they've got art in their tags. Oh, they've got a lot of tags there. Cool. I'm not seeing art there. Those in the comments are probably screaming at me that it's there, but we'll choose one that's probably got less tags. Here's projections by circuitry. There you see, so it says art on the end here. So if it's got art, it'll appear in the art tab. Tutorials, you're watching a tutorial, so there should be more worlds here. I'm planning on basically making more worlds that showcase things, maybe having the video in there. A good one that I've published here has, well, maybe this is showing, I'm not quite sure why that DelVR is basically everywhere. It's probably just because they've got so many tags. So Colliders tutorials and examples. This one is when I was doing a Collider series, I published the world that I did to sort of debug and figure out colliders. So if you open up this here, you'll see tutorial and tutorials existing there. I think you need tutorial there and it'll appear there. Let's hit cancel. Education is the one that has the least, or it had the least when I was looking at it. You can see some really old worlds here, actually. It's kind of interesting to see what was happening earlier on in Neos's history. You will see some newer worlds here, but this is a world category that I really want to see expanded on more. You'll see my medical image examples world. Go there if you want to look at my brain. Literally, if you want to look at my brain, head there. You'll also see things like the X-ray from the NCC that was published by Hamish from the Sydney Human Factors. That's great. That's a great sort of example of sort of how to figure out stuff. And you'll see sort of classroom things or more sort of educational things. So there's carnivores and herbivores. We're getting really into the sort of early areas of Neos here when we go to this category. You can see that by this circular menu here. This is actually the old dash. So people talk about the belt bar. That was like dash V2, if you like. We're currently on dash V3. That was dash V1. It wasn't really even a dash. When you spawn into a world, it just existed there and you kind of had to sort of grab and throw it around. I even missed that one. I came in, I think, just after the update into dash 2. I'm not entirely sure. So if I open up Bloodstream here, that's actually a really good world to visit. You can sort of experience life like inside a Bloodstream. You'll see there's the educational tag on the end, and that's why that's there. Next one is My Worlds. I'm not going to click that one. I'm in a bunch of groups and it will show a bunch of worlds that I don't know if I should be showing, etc. It just shows worlds that you own, which is some confusion because, you know, it does also show groups. You might be able to customize that one to not show grouped worlds, but it does currently show worlds that are unpublished, worlds that are published, worlds that are from your groups, worlds that are not worlds that are not from groups, worlds that you own that are published, worlds that you own that are not published, worlds from groups that you're in that are published, and worlds from groups that you're in that are not published. There we go. And then beneath that is custom. Custom lets you search for basically everything. I haven't used that much, but it does allow you to create a custom view where you can sort of do pretty much any searching that you want. I haven't seen many people use this. I wouldn't be sure why you would need to use it with Neos in, again, like I said, you know, still growing phase. When Neos gets huge, this might be more useful, but to that point, we might have, you know, more sort of filtering coming up because that list can be updated. It was updated during the MMC. During the MMC, there was a dedicated category for the MMC on the left there. You can play around with these. These are allowed to sort of, you know, figure out searching and filtering and figure out how to sort of, you know, whatever you might want. You can see, for example, at the moment, because I've got the educational category selected, it's showing educational. If I go back to everything, you'll see custom filters it back down to everything. So it allows you to apply on top of the category that's already selected. This whole system, by the way, is very smart, intelligent. It was one of the first pieces of UI that was developed, I think, with the combination of facets, dynamic variables, and a bunch of other UI stuff that Freaks added to the engine that made this whole thing technically is quite a wonder to take a look at. It all communicates via dynamic variables. It's quite cool. Let's now go over some searching. If I go to published worlds here, just search for whatever you're looking for. Do note that searching for, you know, individual worlds is better than searching for a whole phrase. The search engine is not doing full text search. It's doing a sort of, you know, pseudo full text search. A full text search would be great, and I think the team are going to look at that in the future. It does get better and better every time I use it, so do do keep in mind, if you can't find something, just try changing up your search terms. So for example, I made a world called Builder Yeem. That was the one that won the competition, NCC. So if I go to build, you'll see a lot of Builder. Builder is kind of sort of a brand that's been accidentally established by me, I guess. Hooray. Where you can sort of build various avatars. We've got Nikita, build a Yeem, build a Nanshi, build a Harpy, build a Minecraft avatar, and then the Japanese community have even come up with some additional build-as worlds. I do plan on doing more of them, and then maybe build a mall or hub later on. But you can see a lot here where you can sort of build an avatar. Let's see what else we might search for. Let's try space. Lots of space worlds that comes up. So we've got Party Hard in space, the USFN space starbase, space window room, space, etc. You can do some more complicated searches. For example, if you do plus, and then you can type in a tag. For example, here if I type in educational, you'll head up to, again, that's pretty much just the educational search over there. Plus, an educational means that the search must have this particular tag within it. So it must have educational in it. If I back this off, you can also do a minus. To do that, I'll have to find a world to unfortunately filter out. So let's see if we can figure out what we can do here. Okay, so Party Hard in space. Let's take a look at what tags this has got. This tag has got party. So let's try and filter out the tag party. So to do that, if I do a minus and I do party here, you'll see that that's now disappeared. Any world that has the tag party will now not appear. That's pretty much all there is for searching. I think you can also do by, but I've had mixed results of it. So if you do by :space and then a username, let's do myself. I think this works. Maybe no space. Oop. Let's try everything. If I figure out how by works, I will put it in the video description. I don't want to go on too much more about that. With that is the world browser overview complete. I did know I wanted to talk about making a world discoverable. I'll make that a part 2. Like I said, I cut things off at 30 minutes because after that point I'm just watering on anyway, and it increases searchability and allows people to sort of find the answer to their question. So if you want to learn more about how to make your world more discoverable, how to edit tags and things like that, that'll be in the next video. I will also include world orb, session orbs, and orbs in general in that one. Okay, I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.